I'm Dana, I'm a singer, and I came to Denmark for the first time in 2010 to study. But then I stayed because I loved the Danish lifestyle. And the funny story is that I was supposed to come to Sweden actually, but I I missed the deadlines for Lund University, so I ended up in Aalborg University. But then later on I decided to come to Copenhagen, so now I'm also closer to my family that lives in Malmö.
What did you study in Aalborg?
So I did a master's degree in European studies.
Okay.
In continuation of my bachelor from Romania. Yes.
Okay. And as EU citizen, you don't have to pay any fees, right?
No, no,
that's
luckily.
nice.
It's very nice, yes.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky like that.
I have been here 6 years, but I don't speak that fluent. And also because I don't speak at work, I should, but it's like, it's always easy to like talk in English and then...
Yeah, I know the feeling. I would say that, what helped me the most with learning Danish was going out there and practicing, talking to people, not only, in supermarkets, but also on a day-to-day basis. So it's very important to get a job where you're forced to speak Danish. I would highly recommend that. And I think any kind of job where, there aren't so many like super young people will help, because young people most likely will speak English. But at the same time, if the Danes will switch to English, I think you should like go ahead and continue speaking Danish, because then they will understand that you actually want to learn the language and they will give you a chance. So I think you should do that. And also don't miss on the Danish classes. They're really important when it comes to learning grammar and pronunciation, which is difficult, I would say, to say the least. Probably listening to a lot of Danish television and radio helps also. I don't really do that, but sometimes I do it actually before I would go to interviews. I would actually listen to Danish music for like a day or two.
Okay.
To kind of get into like a way of thinking in Danish kind of.
I think it's a really good tip. Yeah.
It's, I would say, like a mix of blues, soul, rock, R&B. So it's a bit of different genres. Okay. These are my favorite genres, so I try to combine them. When I compose something, or like it naturally happens that I combine all of them.
With writing or singing, what came first?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think I started writing to begin with. Definitely, as a child. Okay. Also, my teachers admired my, my poetry and my talent with writing. And then later on, I discovered I also loved music, so I started singing, like when I was around 10, 11 years old. And in high school, I participated in some different school performances, and later on also like a small festival in my hometown.
You party a lot, you have a lot of friends. Being expat, I think it's one of the challenges that everyone face.
Yeah.
How did you make so many friends?
Well, I think I'm just a pretty sociable person.
Okay.
And I like different types of people, and whenever I go out, I make new friends. So yeah, it's been like that for me ever since I was a child, because I'm an only child. I don't have any siblings, so I was always forced to kind of
meet new people.
Yeah. I occasionally also struggle with making friends, but I think it's pretty important to go out there and expose yourself and introduce yourself to people. What I do is I normally just go to concerts and approach people based on what's happening there in the place, in the venue, or at the event where I'm at. So normally I would probably comment something about the band that's playing, or about if I see like a cool t-shirt, somebody wearing a cool t-shirt, and I've known that band also for a while, listened to them, So I will bring that up, and that's a good icebreaker. Maybe just go as a volunteer. I've volunteered for Roskilde Festival, and I made a lot of friends in that way, actually. So,
How is it to be an expat artist in Denmark?
all right, yeah. Well, that's a good question because it has its challenges as well, and it has also its good parts. So what I think is the best thing about Denmark is the fact that you can work at the same time, but you can also focus on your music. You can have like a part-time job where you work maybe 15 to 20 hours a week, and then the rest of the time you have to focus on what your passion is. So I think that's really, really cool. And you have lots of like concert places, venues, different bars where you can perform for free or for like a small budget. So you get to expose your music and your craft, whatever it is that you do. So yeah, I think Denmark is really cool from that point of view. I like that.
So what kind of part-time job? You said it's 20 hours or something. Where can they find?
I'm thinking like you can work either in retail, like I do, work in a shoe store.
Okay.
Or you can work in bars or, tourism. If you only speak English, for example, that's a good option.
What are some opportunities for artists here?
Well, I would say that there are many, many places like open mics and concert venues where you can perform on a basis budget kind of.
Yeah.
So you get a couple of thousands of kroner or something like that per concert maybe. Or you can also perform free to gain more exposure.
Yeah.
So there are several bars.
Okay.
Concert venues like that.
Okay. And what about music labels? Like we have Z, Sony, and T-Series in India. Do they have something like this in Denmark? Or
yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, there's the big labels like Sony and Universal and all the other smaller labels that are under these big labels, but also independent music labels.
Okay.
But I think that as an independent artist, it's pretty hard to reach even independent labels. So I think the best way to go when you start is to pay a distributor to distribute your music.
So you are working in a shoe store, right? And we can get a discount, right? So do you have a code for this?
Yes, it's a bit complicated, you see.
Okay. But okay, that's a side job, right?
What is your shoe size?
Oh my god, it's 35.
35, okay.
I can't find it.
It's a bit complicated.
Yeah, so I have to put a sole in my shoe, every shoes, otherwise they don't fit. I think the minimum they make is 36.
Yeah,
and
for
some
women, yes.
Yeah, and some only 37.
But you can get it from the children's departments.
Yeah, that I do often.
They have many cool products too for children. So.
Yeah. What's your plan for this year in your musical journey?
Well, for 2024, I have a couple of songs that will be released. First of all, Adieu Authority, and its video will come out in January.
Okay.
To start fresh, and then I want to release some of my older songs too, because I feel that they deserve to be out there. And as well as my very last song that I made with Radu Constantin, the producer that I've worked with so far. And I just want to have a good base of songs to present to venues. And
Okay.
I'm sure I can book some gigs after that, throughout spring and summer. Yeah. So I've never been to India, unfortunately. I've never been that far from Europe. But I mean, I think I would love it because it seems pretty warm there compared to Denmark. So I would really love to visit and explore, everything that there is to see. I would probably have a culture shock and also, be a little bit challenged when it comes to food, but I'm up for the challenge. So I would really love to visit India. I will be looking forward for some tips from everyone out there of what to see first.